you're inside my mind. You little drive me crazy. Love it swimming pool. You said I like a fool. 'Cause I don't know how to sing. You are my best coach. Do you still remember your face? Never give away your mind. I will be here only for you, but never come back again. Do you still remember our love? Don't tell me you totally forgot. Sometimes I can see your smiling face, just like a beautiful one.
Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's see. There you go. Alright. Hello there, all humans. Or non-humans. I don't really care what you are. But, hello! Hello, Kithrin. Hello. Lightspar? Welcome. Welcome, welcome, peoples. Hope you're all having a good day today. I know I kind of stream at random, but but you know, schedules and things have been that way as of late. But yes, welcome back to another day of Ace Attorney. This stream's probably going to be much shorter, because I like to kind of keep the streams within the cases, and I'm going to assume we're on the last part of the case, unless the case, you know, was like... unless the case was like... 4 parts long, or 5 parts? I don't remember how many we went through. I think we went through like 2 parts of the case. Likely there's only 1 part left, because this is like only the 3rd case, so there's not going to be like a billion of them. Who knows? Janitor is a title beyond human. No, you're correct. Janitors are essential to the world. But as far as how things have been going, it's good. Just kinda hanging out. Deciding. Wow, this music's really ominous. Like, I put on the freaking Things Betwixt theme from Dark Souls 2, and I was like, this will be good for stream, but it makes it sound like there's some, like, dark, mysterious stuff going on here. Eat anything nice, you know? I had a very interesting sandwich this morning. I had a sandwich that had what you call it? It had turkey breast, cream cheese, mayo, bacon, tomatoes, avocados, and sprouts. It's a lot of vegetables. It was very good. I enjoyed it. It was a good sandwich. Aside from that, not much has been eaten today. Not much has been consumed. I hope everyone else has interesting meals, though. Because I don't think anything's more disappointing in a day than having, like, boring meals all day long. You know, this is actually something I've come to think about a lot, which is the actual feeling of having eaten a meal. Which is, like, it's different than actually eating. I don't know if anyone else goes through this, but have you ever eaten a meal, and even though you've eaten, like, a fair share of calories, because the meal was maybe, like, bland or you didn't enjoy it, it feels like you didn't even eat? Because I've had that before. Especially when food is bland. I had that the other day when I was eating, like, this, like, weird steak mushroom dish someone made, and it was like almost completely unsalted and had like nothing going on at all. And I, like, even though I ate the whole thing, I went home and I'm like, did I even eat? I don't feel like I ate. But I suppose it's sort of a normal thing. I don't know. Anyways, however, today we're going to be going back and playing more Ace Attorney. Or Great Ace Attorney, I should say. How I feel about plain bologna sandwiches. Yeah. That is, that's kind of my feeling on those two. I don't know. To make, like, a good sandwich or a good anything, you need to ensure it has taste. And I feel like a lot of my life I've actually been, like, robbed of taste. Because the person who is, like, you know, cooked for me all of my life has a very sensitive tongue. So when it comes to foods, they under everything. It's always under-salted, under-spiced, under-sugared. It's always slightly under what a normal person would consider, like, a decent amount. So, like, recently as I got into cooking these past 3 years of my life a lot more, I started to realize, man, like, you can make the everyday food that you have taste without giving it 1 billion calories. When people say you can't make food taste good because it will up the calories too much, that's a lie. That is straight up a lie for just, like, you know, I don't even want to look into how to make this food taste good. And that's something we've always had that's been, like, an American misconception, especially, where your parents were taught, hey, if you want to eat healthy, the only way to eat healthy is by having plain broccoli or plain green vegetables or, you know, whatever. It's illegal to spice anything up because for whatever reason, adding flavor to any vegetable dish, I guess, saps the nutrients out or defies the whole point, and that's just not true. Like, you can do so much to vegetables to make them taste good. I know I'm going on a tangent about vegetables and practically nothing here, but, you know. I'm starting to think maybe I should do some of my streams later in the day, though. I'm feeling like a lot more people can make it when it's later in the day than early, like I normally do. Vegetal stream. Exactly. I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing my streams like way later. Who knows? We'll find out. Please follow for more of Xeno's Kitchen Talk. I mean, I don't know. When it comes to food, I'm not particularly picky, but at the same time, when it comes to those foods I'm not picky with, you can do a lot better with them than nothing, I guess. I think every ingredient has a chance to taste good. It's just like, you gotta know what to do with it. You can't just throw it into like a pan and then salt it and pepper it and be like, best thing ever. You know, when the ingredient doesn't have like a natural flavor to it. But anyways, how about we get started? There's not that many people here today, but that's okay. You know, we'll just vibe with Ace Attorney regardless. Hello, Daywitch. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, hello, Pat. Welcome. What's up? Not much. Just getting ready to do a big old good stream. Getting ready for more Ace Attorney madness that's about to smooth out my brain, you know? When I start playing Ace Attorney, I feel like my brain has wrinkles in it. And then when I finish, I feel like it is smooth. I have the Somnium Files too. Yeah, I definitely want to start that, but I won't be able to start it, I think, till about like 4 or 5 days after release, and that's for 2 different reasons. Reason 1, I kind of want to finish this game first before we go on to it. Reason 2, I ordered the collector's edition, so it's not going to be in for a couple days after the release of I, the Somnium Files 2. But I will for sure play it, and I'm very excited about it. Yep, it comes out this week. Very excited. Dun 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 dun. Oh wow, it just leaves straight off where we were. Okay. I guess it makes sense. These games basically do have save states. I was kind of thinking, like, it was just gonna abandon me here. But no, not today. Not today. Today we can hang out. Alright. The title theme of this game will always slap. Yeah, I actually agree. So far, I'm really happy with this soundtrack. There's a couple Ace Attorney games I'm not, like, too fond of their soundtracks, and I think that actually comes mainly from, Justice for All. Actually. Yeah. I think Justice for All is the one game where I'm not too fond of the soundtrack all that much. Most of them are at least solid, but if I had to, like, put up my top 3 soundtracks for Ace Attorney, It would be like Edgeworth Investigations 2. Hell, probably the two Edgeworth Investigations games, and then this one. Granted, I haven't played the other 3DS games yet, so who knows. I also heard that Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney may have a good soundtrack, or may have a really bad one. I don't remember, but... Anyways, let's play. Second is that if such a person was indeed present... Let me turn this game's volume up. Why did you conceal that fact from the police? Oh, I forgot I had to do an Irish accent for this guy. Oh god, I don't remember how to do that. I was so in the zone last week when I last played this, and I was like, I know how to do this accent perfectly. And now I'm like, I can't do anything. But god, no. 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Oh, I forgot. Zeke's took off the cape. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this thing all along. Do I tell you, Zol, or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. It's true! Why didn't you say anything? Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What?! I mean, I'm glad he's being honest here, but like... I do not like the sentence, I helped them get away. No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken by the police. I'm having trouble, like, reading and doing exacts at the same time. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. Who is this young child of whom you speak? That I don't know. You don't know? Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. Never saw her before, or since. Objection! We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? What? Whoa! What? Whoa! What? Fire! What is going on? Whoa, this escalated so fast. He's like, what if they're here in an instant fire smoke bomb? What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid the scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Oh, that's all I had left in the... I thought I had already gone to the next part of the trial, but I... What? What just happened? And then they all died. The end. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened. Mr. Zato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of things ninjas use. Oh boy. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? I think she probably, I don't know, maybe she feels guilty because Mr. McGilded helped her? I don't know. There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Hmm? Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo. Yeah, that wouldn't add up at all if there's another person. He took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, meaning that the little girl snuck aboard. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We're going straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes. That's her? There's the young girl next to McGilded, look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zieks. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke, which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army! What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night. So it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman was involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Yeah, why didn't he tell us? He was just like, here's some money, win the case for me. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then Begora. Begora? Okay. Oh, I didn't read that. I'm sorry. I right-clicked. I right-clicked and I didn't mean to. And Begora, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. Wow, I'm doing very bad at this right now. I'm doing bad at the visual novel. Please forgive me. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, me lord. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Okay, let's actually go back one. Oh, you can go back. Okay, it's just the escape button. I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off.
Hold it!
So you're saying you were asleep. And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. Would you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite to the one which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable, where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Interesting, so he's saying he was across from them and not next to them. So the position of the passenger that we thought was across from them, the person who died, is now actually McGilded's position, meaning that this third passenger, this girl, don't know her name, was directly next to the victim themselves. Then Begora, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream. I'm kind of getting the feeling that, because Mr. McGilded is such like a... How should I say this? Such like a behaviorally sound man, you know, he's giving to the poor, helping build parks, whatnot. I have a feeling that he has a real big soft spot for children. So if this younger girl did indeed commit a crime here, maybe he feels that by taking the blame and hiring like a good defense lawyer, he can kind of get past whatever truth there may be and just save them both, you know. A loud thud, you say, and a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well now, you remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone. At the same moment, you did hear a scream? Oh, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No. I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes. Wait. Hold on a second. Let me recollect my thoughts here. So what he's saying... Okay. Interesting. But when did he see the girl herself? There's a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Oh, I see. So that is why he did have blood on his gloves, is because the person fell down and he went to go sit him up, not knowing that they had been stabbed.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. You wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. I actually find that a little hard to believe, too. Ara... Wait, did he just say Ara? Whatever. That must be... I'm going to assume that's another Irish thing that I understand, and not the, not the Japanese, onomatopoeia. I guess not really an onomatopoeia, it's a sound. It's just common courtesy to touch a dead body. Exactly. You know, if you ever see a crime scene, just make sure you tamper with every single thing at the crime scene out of respect, right? Lord Van Zeeks. Now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in the carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! It was always intended to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self just do the same? Yes. The scream says he heard... Wait, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. I cannot talk today. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? What did you find? I mean, I don't really feel like I should have to press this. There's a child in there all curled up in a ball.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself. Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball when our eyes met. Well, me heart nearly stopped beating in me chest. You're really overacting this. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there. Sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chinwag with her. The seat opposite? Wait, you mean you put her next to the dead body? Are you telling me that you found like a 15-year-old girl curled up, scared, and you're like, here you go, just sit next to the dead body, let's have a conversation, shall we? Like, what? What are you saying? Who does this? That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there. Okay, alright. You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilden. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason? Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course, with a scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. I do wonder how you must be feeling, Mr. Naruhodo. Being the defendant's lawyer and yet finding myself as stunned as everyone else at his testimony? Let's just say it's trying. We certainly had precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilden before the trial. Wait, how do you mistake the purple top hat man for the green girl with the cat? I don't know. Listen, it was a dark and stormy night. He didn't have his glasses. It's difficult, okay? They look exactly the same. Exactly. I can't even see the difference. We mustn't be dispirited. We must try to learn all the facts as we can. Or all... Huh. When we arrived in London this morning, I didn't see my day panning out like this. Mr. Naruhodo, no grumbling, even in your head. She knows what I'm thinking. How did you know? On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Okay. So there is a statement I'm gonna have to press here. Let me look at the evidence again, because it's been a little bit since I've seen it. Let's see. Autopsy report, let's reread this. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying on an omnibus. Died due to okay, yeah, whatever. That's fine. There's the picture itself of the man who's been stabbed and is dead. There's the gloves, which this kind of adds up now. But how come there's only gloves, like, in the section, right? So he just stabbed himself? I don't know. But, like, the gloves are only bloodied in this section, which means he had to have been handling something with his hand. And if he was helping someone up, that doesn't make sense with all of this either. If I look at the omnibus too, he was on the floor sitting across from him, helped him up onto the seat where he bled there. The young girl was under one of these seats and he sat her up in the chair. Okay, that's kind of adding up. Sorry, I have to change a setting on Twitch really quickly. So I didn't realize I forgot to change part of the title. Whoops. My bad. It's okay. Okay. Well... I know what we're gonna do. I know what we're gonna do. I think maybe I have to press that stupid option that I didn't do before. I'm thinking. Let's go with that, I think. I think I'm gonna press this one even though it was, like, not a great source of information. So I feel like he has more things to tell us. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. Queer ting. Though a wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Oh, she was sitting under, or she was under him. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. And that's when I found her. Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here, a petty thief? Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Oh, Lestrade, I get it. Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. What? She shot him! Shot him with the purple haze. The purple drug gas. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? Wait, what? She's gone? She pulled out a gun in court and then left? Absolute Chad move, honestly. Absolute Chad move. Lestrade is also a name in Sherlock Holmes. I didn't know that. Oh, neat little fact. Just pieced out of the universe. The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? I'm wondering what the point was too. I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is the court of law. We're here to determine the... Just shoot fart gas. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do... Wait, all I need for what I do is these fingers. And the gun you're using? I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got the pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Ugh, do not wave that thing in my direction again! So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus in the night in question. Wait a second, didn't... If I recall, the driver said that it was a foggy night. Is it possible that she shot a smoke grenade and when the driver said he saw fog, it was actually that? And she just snuck aboard while he was sleeping? "'Tis alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now." Alright, yeah. Just like the Irishman said. This court accepts this girl, Ms. Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in the case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question. Alright. If I have to. what the girls saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I don't even know what accents they're trying to do. I'm just like plain British, but I can't do that. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in such a hiding place. It's pitch in there. Pitch? Pitch black, okay. God, this hurts my brain to read. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out of me skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that, this swell found me. Swell. He did help me get away, mind. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, me lord. You see, she could possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. We're sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I was sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume? Oh, but the way that lifts up, she couldn't... There is no way she could have gotten in there while he was asleep. She would have had to have been in there before he even got on because it lifts up. So unless she was able to lift that up before he was even sleeping, or while he was sleeping and get in there, there's no way she could have done it during the ride. This was prepared. She was in there already. But wait a second. Lots of questions still. She's literally a cabinet goblin. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I'd parked myself on the seat for the duration. Oh! So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. It's very true. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness! What a perfect gentleman. My lord! This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury is consensual and they're leaning to a verdict of not guilty. Wait, no, we still don't know who did it, though. Like, this is nice and all, but this isn't an answer. This isn't good enough. This is just like, oh, this man's a nice guy, he couldn't have done it, haha, good, be free. This child will actually be executed. We're going to execute this child because it must be their fault. Like, this is coming off a little strong here. Just a little bit, just a little strong. Mr. Naruhodo, this, well, it must mean what? that we're victorious. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection.
Oh, let's... What? What are you doing? If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the courtesy. What is this, man? This is the first time I've actually seen him be active. This is actually something I really like about this prosecutor so far versus the other ones. I felt like the other prosecutors literally would interrupt you like every 2 seconds for the most minor of details and stupid things they could think of. Like, I love Edgeworth a lot, but the amount of times in the first game that Edgeworth just interrupted Phoenix for like literally no reason, basically to go, but you're stupid, Phoenix, or to like pull up some bullshit evidence he just withheld from the court until just now, you know. I felt like that was a little like frustrating to go through. And watching Van Zieks just kind of watch us calmly and silently until the time came where he has to do something. I really like that about this guy so far. It's you know, I don't feel like he's playing a game of stupid. He's seeing us as like a real opponent in the courtroom. It's really nice. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in the British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's last statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in the black and white here in the police report. Good lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Wait, how did someone remove everything from the seats before? Oh, she stole it, didn't she? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been affected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in this viewing, in allowing this to have happened. Oh my god, my brain. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend... Huh, me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition... Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? I actually haven't looked at it. I was told to look at it. So I'm gonna do that now. How do I look? Oh, I didn't realize we were allowed to look inside like this. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? Scene of a murder. It's horrible. Yeah, he's really not used to this yet. Oh, I didn't even realize we could... No, I didn't think we were allowed to go inside. I thought it was just kind of like a look through the window type of thing. Hey, look! I know that tower. What does this say? Oh, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. Huh, that's neat. Oh, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. Oh, let's look at the blood. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. There doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. So I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin, at least. That's good news as well. That's blood that's soaked into the seat, the victim's obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark. And there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. The timing of this examination makes this hilarious. Yeah, it's like... Well, my Nipponese friend, have you examined the cabin? Yeah, goes inside and shuts the door. Susano, look at this. What's this thing? Susano. In person. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just... Well, this blood stain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Zieks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Huh. Yeah, the blood seems to be like a completely different shade than the other one. Maybe it's just the way the texture's on. I guess it's because it's like stained into the seats and these are on the floor, but... He didn't make a mention of it, you're right. Huh. The seat has a handle, it seems. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in there. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Something doesn't seem right? I mean, I can't really, like, see in there. I see two little scuff marks here and here, which I feel could be important. Aside from that, though, I don't really notice anything yet, because I can't really get, like, a good view. But it also seems weird that there's only one of these under one of the seats. You know? It's a little odd, but... whatever. Okay. Oh. I examined it, yeah, of course! Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zieks. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? I didn't look, it was empty. It wasn't empty. No, it was empty. He's not wrong. Yes. I'm fairly sure it was empty. If I'm honest, my memory about all this is a little hazy. We just did it 2 seconds ago, Kazuma! Not Kazuma, sorry. Rinosuke. As I suspected. It seems, my lord, that this Eastern initiate has the scruples of a by-street wine merchant. Okay. Mr. Naruhodo? Perfect. This why the fella's represented me, after all. He knows just what to say, does he not? Well now, it would seem the argument is moot. And the truth of the matter is there for all yous to see, after all. That there cubbyhole under the seat is just as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. But we can be sure of, at least. Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pickpocket and the pick purse are lying. Uh-oh. I mean, this is both good and bad, because I didn't just want it to end like that and be like, no one's guilty. He died from nothing. And, oh wait, no, it would have actually incriminated the little girl, which it's not something I want to do either without, like, ample evidence. That doesn't feel right. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, a lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick! Of course it's a trick! Quite so. I must concur here. Oh, this is tilting fast. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. You related to Edgeworth? Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. Well, we're even again. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is a matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted, almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. What the girl saw. So I snuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses, just like always.
Hold it!
So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run. Or set off on its run. Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, innit? God, I can't do this. I suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. Okay, well that helps that. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And 1 little scapegrace riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grab before it's his last run, see? Just goes for some grub. So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no? Now she's not talking. Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer, who arrived first at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Just like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me trouble that last night. Hello, Shortcut. A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on my own. In the God permit, at least some of the time. I beg your pardon, did you say God permit? Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you came out of your hiding place and get away? That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Did you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while the events unfolded in the enclosed cabin. Yeah. Right, mister. To be sure, to be sure. I was shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit, then. I tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I just push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I can have it butchers who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Obson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open, then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared. But I'd to just stick it out under there, nothing else for it. And after a while, I hear this loud bang nearly jumped out of me skin, I did. And the screen just came out. Loud bang. Must have been him hitting the floor? Yeah, I think that must have been him hitting the floor. I can't think of another... Excuse me. I had a tickle in my throat. I couldn't think of, like, another thing that happened that would have, made that go on right now. I'm sure he's, like, one of these two is gonna react in some weird way to a question one of them answers, I think.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes? Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab the victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at the crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. Push up the cushion and add a quick butchers while I added the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke who had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilda's account, of course. But then, the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. The accent gives me Xenoblade flashbacks. Because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both me hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands were covered in blood. Must be what the rooftop passengers saw. I was wondering about that. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to in that. Then I heard something up from above, like someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawing up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, sure we could clinch the verdict. Yeah, I think I just need to look, in the one testimony I did where the guy reacted, I think I needed to look at one of them harder while the other one was talking. We haven't used that mechanic in a little bit, and they've made it obvious this whole time, but I think maybe I missed something. Yes, I think you're right. I have this feeling. Something bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. It wasn't this one. Wasn't this one. I think it was this one that he responded on. Was it?
Hold it!
So you couldn't see under the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I just push the cushion up with me head. No, he's just sitting there. I can have butchers at who I'm gonna fiddle. Okay. Maybe it wasn't this one. Maybe it's the next one. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. She's claustrophobic.
Well, no.
Whoa, he didn't do that before, did he? Whoa, what's going on here? Why are you laughing about it?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was something there the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. It was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Aye. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah? I suppose it does. Maybe. Huh, interesting. Miss Lestrade? Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. But jabbers! There's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? It's profoundly important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council, nevertheless. Miss Gina Lestrade. You will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. What statement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. Oh, it was a new statement. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hid yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry? Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then I saw this swell getting on. I got me head down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGill had sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you add him an avid, eh? What a mug. I will never understand the language. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, you see. But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never even heard the door open. I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that? I wonder. I don't think that adds up. Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm going to follow it for a second. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zieks realized it too. I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilda's snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think. Is there something she could have heard? Let me look at the court record. Show a person? Hold on, I need to look at the court record's people. Okay, Susato is not there. She could not be heard. Male Stronghurt's probably on top of the building, fighting off like King Kong with his bare hands. He's right next to us. Every time he says Nipponese friend, I get flashbacks to Goldman from House of the Dead 2. I've played the House of the Dead games, but I don't remember them all that well. But I will believe you. We have Barak von Zieks. Not all that important. He's incredibly wealthy. The victim, a skilled but poor brickmaker who apparently owed the defendant a considerable sum of money. Huh. A young woman who witnessed the incident from her hiding place aboard the omnibus. The night of the murder, she discovered the defendant. Huh. I actually really don't know what it wants me to do. I'm not going to say forget it. And the fact that it says show a person makes me think it's a person as well. So I'm going to show a person. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. Was it the sound of him hitting the floor? Is that all we're talking about? I think it's just the sound of him hitting the floor. I might be trying to overthink this.
Take that!
Because there's no way she didn't hear that if he hit the floor super hard. Thrice-fired Mason? I think I was right. Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear. is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the Omni. Oh, that's the sound we're talking about. I thought it was the sound of him hitting the floor. It's the sound of Mr. Mason boarding the omnibus. Order! Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, she would have heard him get on, actually. That is a good point. Oh yes, overthinking a crux that every Ace Attorney has. Hello, Zen, welcome. I mean, sometimes overthinking does me well. Like, I figured in, I think it was Apollo Justice? No, it was Edgeworth Investigations 1. I figured out a vital piece of information because I noticed two sprites were very similar to each other. Like, I remember that specifically, and I remember freaking out that I noticed it. I was very excited once I saw that and it came to light. But most of the time it just leads me around in circles where I'm not figuring out any relevant information. Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded? That it was. Not a soul in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at the time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else. That's what you mean? Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. But you couldn't have! I get it now! You couldn't have because he was sitting on the seat, so you can't lift it up to see through the crack. Because it's closed. It is closed shut. So you couldn't have seen the man get on because he was sitting on there, because he was the first to board. From what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, weren't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh. I thought that was really unenthusiastic. We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabinet of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zieks. Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? This sounds like a sham of a testimony, pretty much. Oh no, the old lady's ready to convert. She wants death. She's out for blood. Oh shit, you played Dracula's trap card. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear old little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. Neither can I. But Mr. Foreman, I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. This isn't good. Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leading towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. How many bottles do you have? Or is that just one bottle that has like an endless amount of wine? I love how the little wine bottle even has a Grim Reaper with 2 sides on it. He really likes the Grim Reaper. God, what are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Hamadan? This is carnage, it's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going... I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilda's innocence, the judge will rule and we will have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Aw, the old Ace Attorney bullshit attack. Yelling hold it when you have absolutely no evidence to show. Let's go. He just has a wine crate delivered every time the camera's not on him. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? Counsel? I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prolong my education. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus that on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. I almost forgot his voice. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabinet of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. I love how simplistic Ryunosuke's design is sometimes. I think the what's the word for it? The exaggerated expressions on how like his eyes are really make him who he is, you know? So what's the question? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Huh. I see. He was in there already. That would make sense because Mr. McGill, you know. Oh, the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was in there already because that means Mr. McGill was lying, but I don't want that to be the fake, you know, not truth. There's another... The skylight! There is another entrance! Right, if he was on top, he could have climbed down through the skylight. But why? I mean, it's a possibility. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the closed cabin some other way. I wonder what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other only has windows. I mean, he could have gone through the windows. I don't know if they open or not. Oh, they're fixed windows, okay. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open, in short. There's no entrance to the cabin other than the door. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, really? One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening. the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. All right, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. I don't know why, but I feel like Van Zeke should have like a Dr. Doom type voice. Yeah, I mean, like, the easiest way to go with this would have been like a gothic, like, Castlevania voice. But I was like, you know what? We're going deep and grungy with this man. We're gonna go something weird. You know, because people always got upset on YouTube when I did like the same voice that another YouTuber had done for something that I'd like never even seen before. So I've always tried to like make characters' voices a little different from what you'd expect. Like, some of them are right on point, but sometimes it's like I go far away for like a purposeful reason that just winds up sticking. Here's the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? It's here.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. Oh, we know. That's why the Trucy voice is so memorable. Man, I didn't think anyone remembered, like, the Trucy voice from Apollo Justice. It's been so long. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addled brain theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which had already been explained as the sound of the victim falling from a seat having been assaulted with a dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact? Good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, it's true, but... What a humble fellow. Make a wee comment here. Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much the case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my, oh goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof. She is typing fast, oh my god. She's playing StarCraft over there, look at that APM. She's Zerg rushing right now. You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Oh! That old lady. She's got after images. Just what exactly are you insinuating here? I forgot they were still here. I didn't think they were in the room anymore. You blitherer. You rotter, he said, you rotter. What are you insinuating? Dude, what are you doing? I guess it's supposed to be like a horse riding motion? What are you insinuating? I don't like this. That makes me uncomfortable. This is a flaming outrage. I've got a mind to give you a blinker in a minute. I'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay. You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and a well-respected banker. And me, a very angry hatter. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed the man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too. And about you, you rotten scoundrel. Order, order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is... Wait, they're not supposed to be out here? They just walked out here and freaked out? But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zieks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to... It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight of the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what's termed a baseless accusation. But I'm base! I know it was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but... You can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify! I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it all at once. Oh my god, the chanting! What's happening, Mr. Naruto? They're summoning the devil! They're summoning Satan! The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought by... Or oh, it's just indictment. Okay, I thought it was indictment. I'm like, what does that mean? Indictment brought by the defense. First, infighting between the Fuhrers... or the Fuhrers? Yeah, oh god. Infighting between the jurors, and now infighting between the witnesses. Are we sure this isn't an old-timey fight club? It kinda is! It really is. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. McGilded seems happy. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Here we go again. The testimony. Again. Again. Bird. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think the other one of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. He couldn't have possibly opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I mean, isn't the proof the blood on the floor? I can just present that, I think. Wait a second, hold on. Let me look at the omnibus again. Let me in. Well, there's blood on the floor. There's that. There's blood on the seat. There's that. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Nothing going on. Is there like something up on the roof, maybe? Oh, Zeno, did you by chance see the Easter egg on the omnibus? Are you talking about the Phoenix Wright sign on it? Yeah, I did. It's pretty cool. So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Yeah, you must have a wonderful view of London Street from up here. So you'll sit all the way up here on the bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them. And they have to pay money to do so. I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in a freezing cold and as punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. Ugh. You can certainly see the inside of the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure that witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. I don't know. There's nothing, like, under the seats. Am I wrong for looking at this? Oh, I forgot. It's not a real door. It's a fake door. It's a real door. It has a handle. Because it says there's something fishy about this blood, but I don't get what it means. It's just, like, normal blood. It's just while this blood stain's so obvious, that's all. Okay, no, this is just to point out that, like, Van Zyke's been purposefully omitting it. There's blood. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Nope, nothing going on there. But hold on, actually. I have a question, though. If our theory goes through and he was stabbed up here, wouldn't there be blood up here, like, somewhere? Like, on the seats or something? It's not like he got stabbed and then fell into here and then just... There's no blood anywhere else. That seems way too clean for this whole case. I don't know. Maybe you have to look at something else. Let me just check some of the other items just in case. See, we have the knife, which I haven't really examined. There's a W on it. Ornate letter. Oh, it's an M. I'm holding it upside down. Oh, yeah, that's right. We said it was Magnus's. Okay. What is it? Look at this M. Turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. A W? Yes, it's one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know it all. What I am sure of is that this is an M. Oh, well, that idea was quickly washed. I mean, it looks like a W to me. But, yeah, I guess it is an M. I hate it. I hate my thought. We... freaking... Ryunosuke had the same thought I did. I don't think this is really relevant at the moment. The gloves don't matter. I don't see anything going on with him. Hey, Lord Claro. Welcome. I'm doing well. I must say, listening to this testimony, it's somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith. Do I want a hint? No, I'll figure it out. I don't really, like, take hints unless I'm, like... Unless I directly asked for it, but thank you for the offer. Lord Claro redeemed. Have Xeno tell you a random fact on the spot. Random fact about omnibuses, because I was looking them up a long time ago, right? And what omnibuses are. In actuality, in modern day, the term omnibus actually means a volume containing several novels or other items previously published separately. I looked that up on Google to make sure I didn't get it wrong again. But there's your random fact. It's not just a bus. It is also a bus, but that fact is that, like, that term is dated now. No one uses the term omnibus anymore. We just use bus. Time for a sharp turnabout. How about no? That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Ah, well, I don't trust coppers anymore than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense, over to you. For cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Can't be here much longer, but it feels good to watch you streaming. Wasn't quite able to catch you for some time. I've been streaming for some time, so, you know, that's probably why you haven't caught me. But thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate it. Have a good one, Lord Claro. Refuting the accusation. There are only two people up on that roof deck. Dead or alive, I can swear that. Okay. If anything happened where we were sitting, I don't think either one of us would have noticed. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time. I tell you, couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I feel like this is the one that we had to kind of present to. Because it's like literally asking us, hey, do you have proof? I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely. I want to press this one specifically.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? The skylight was shut the entire time. I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. That's not really proof. It's just shut now. So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it. Still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the ting, you understand. Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of that ting means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. What? This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. If they had no common dealing, then why do they seem like a tag team duo now? Yeah, he's literally repeating everything the other guy says. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is I tried to open the skylight, you see? But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. I was looking daggers at me, sir. I went red as... rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried, and... when I was inside that cabin of shame, someone said... Interesting.
Excuse me.
Then keep the door open. Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? I far aloud, I scared. Miss Lestrade! It opens. Hmm? Skylight. That's what we're talking about, right? Okay, no need for that. No... Why does she have a whole reload animation? All those skylights open, dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. It's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, I... You can't do it from the inside, you mug. Oh? Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. I had a great hole, I mean. I had bursts coming out of my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the form to be eulogizing. Eulogizing? Eulogizing. Eulogizing. I'm gonna look up eulogizing. What does that word mean? Praise highly in speech or writing. This is not the form to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted that last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So what I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch of them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. Skylight opens from the roof? Yeah, I actually already figured this out. But I wasn't sure because it looks like you can still push up on it, but there must be like a latch or something. I thought I saw one in the top. Bailiff! Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims. Oh, I see there is a latch indeed. Oh, my hat! See? Order, order, order! So it appears that this girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. From the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel, for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Yes, we should! I think I'm about to find the clue I was just looking for a second ago. So the skylight was fastened shut before. Now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. Oh, there's a blood stain! I found the evidence! Could you imagine how cold it here? Susanna, do you not see the blood? We'll give this game, yeah. You know, for Santa Judge being pretty good at his job, similar to Japan Judge, you think he'd order the bailiff to, I don't know, disarm Miss Lestrade. No, she's fine. Don't worry about it. Localization team did such a fantastic job. They really did. I have to say, like, the terminology and different accents they use, really good job with it. I'm actually really caught off guard because I in all my time doing voices and things, British accents are like one of my least practiced ones. I've almost had to use it for nothing. The only game I've played with like hard British accents is Xenoblade, and that game's fully voice acted. So, it's one of those I'm definitely really unpracticed on. I guess maybe we have to look at it from the inside or else they won't, like, acknowledge it. Yeah, there we go. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Ah! But what is it? Look, just here! Look at this! That's... without question. It's blood! Why would there be a blood stain there? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? We got it! We got the evidence we need! You're wrecked now, you two. My proof is right here.
Objection.
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. Ugh, you can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean... we didn't do it, I tell you, it's impossible. Irrefutable proof, here in this courtroom. Counsel? My lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, hmm? Sure. Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proved that... yeah, I can do that easily. There it is. Got it. Got it.
Got it!
Got it! By Jupiter! Is that... blood? This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. My! And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. Urgh. No! Order! Order! But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin, but it couldn't have done it unless it was open. Which is the question, why was it open? It only found its way into that one particular spot on the skylight? Sure, and that would be very convenient. Ugh. Let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But... there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't we have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? Tis all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height right there, so it is. What? No. But it can't be. It's all... lies! Let's go. My fellow jury members, I have changed my mind. I am very binary in my decisions. I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes, sir. It is clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful part couldn't have done such a thing. Drayan, first time chat. I know this is extremely unrelated to the case or anything, but if you're a priest and you finish law school, does that make you a father-in-law? Oh my goodness. Drayan, you're gonna love it here. I have a specific redemption just to redeem puns that I rate. You're gonna have a fun time in this chat. That's all I'm gonna say. Enjoy your time here torturing me with puns. Welcome to the stream. On 3 then, everyone. 1, 2. Oh my god. Wait, no, she's already on the white side though. Don't hit your fist on the table, lady. If you do that, it's gonna...
Objection!
What could he possibly have? A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zieks? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed. What? 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 What are you... What? What are you saying? What are you on? It doesn't exist. It's right there. It is ketchup. I was eating a McDouble on top of the carriage before the setting started, and I dropped my fries into the compartment.
Objection!
I was gonna say it's his wine. Your Honor, the defense is maidenless. What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety. No such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least not until his trial began. But... are you suggesting, Lord Van Zieks, the stain of blood was... fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court has been in session. I mean, I was about to ask that. My source, I made it the fuck up. I was actually about to ask about that because I was like, what's going on here? You know? There's no way that the police are that bad and that they just did not check everything. Like, that would be a terrible, like, murder. I mean, it is old Britain, but whatever. Then your proof it was clean, Dracula. Where's your proof it was clean? I cited myself as evidence. He actually is citing himself as evidence right now. You're right. I want to suck your blood. I mean, I want to solve the case. What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your stand-in, Lord Van Zieks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper in the Bailey. Of the Bailey, I should say. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in the court as the accused. However, I'm well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. That's actually, like, something I've been wondering about here. Why is Lord Van Zieks here? We don't know yet. He has been off of the court for such a long time and just randomly came back from this case? Or for this case? That seems so weird. He must have a reason. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing the witnesses. Toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut tut, Lord Van Zykes. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, Counsel? Oh, no! I think it's fair to say, this all does sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But, if you all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? What do you mean? No, they had to wheel it in here. It's not... Someone wheeled it in here. It did not just appear in the courtroom. What are you talking about? How could anyone possibly put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't it that right? No, Counsel. I mean, you could have done it way back then. It's true. The omnibus has been in full view of the entire time that the court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during the trial? If you're asking me, I think it could have been possible. The defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important. Yeah, that must be why Lord Zeeks is here. Like, this has happened before. Someone's actually fabricating this. There's no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there's one possibility. Oh? Good gracious! Explain yourself, Counsel. Oh, are we coming to find the truth? Yes, there is. Seems my learned Neapolitan's friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly. The recess that we were forced to take. Oh, of course! During the time we ran out of the courtroom. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently on the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. That's why she did it. She wasn't just trying to get away. And that's why he mentioned her too. Him mentioning her was a symbol and time for her to put off that smoke bomb. So it looks like she just used it to run away. But it was actually their plan. But I didn't think that happened because, like... The only reason I didn't think it happened then was because he told the bailiff to immediately secure the omnibus. So I didn't assume anyone really could have messed with it without, like, coming across the bailiff. But I suppose in the smoke grenade, it's really hard to see. The courtroom was filled with smoke and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos... It could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Can someone just look it to see if it was real? What if they're already in there? Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless gouger? Feckless? Gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. It's a plot to undermine me, so it is. Objection. Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade. Oh, that's... The blood on the floor is fabricated too! Think about it. I noticed earlier that the blood on the floor looked newer than the blood that's, like, on the seat. It looked like it was just on there. Does that mean that the blood on the floor is also new? The fact he was just stabbed in the cabin, and this was all like an elaborate ruse going on here? Huh. Brain expanding. Actually, don't have your brain expand. That will kill you. Brain wrinkling right now. Okay? After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies? I mean, it's also a little hard for me to tell because, like, I legit did not know you could investigate the inside of the omnibus till they brought it up. So that does make things a little hard for me, myself, to know. Because I didn't know you could take a look inside. I thought you could just look through the windows. Such as... to start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty this evidence is a result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I have an inkling. My lord. Yes, counsel? There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare betray me, you little maggot, you better start watching your back. Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. Urgh. The trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? It's the bloodstain on the floor, I think, just like I talked about earlier, right? It looks like a completely different shade here. I thought they just shaded this different because it was like, you know, it had stained the cloth that was on the seat. But no, it's actually straight up, this is fake. It's blood, isn't it? Something wrong? Let's just, well, this bloodstain is so obvious that it's, yeah, okay. Okay.
Got it!
If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom. I mean, I wouldn't know. I didn't get a chance to look. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether the evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Arrgh! This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I can possibly do. I can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell ye. Jesus, he's mad. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, 'tis all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now. Well, and over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Baileys failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Sykes. Well, my lord. I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. What about the entire police force? Can you not ask the I guess he could have bribed them, but still. Like, why don't we ask the people who investigated it that aren't just him? Like, where's the police report exactly? At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. And in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Sykes, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witness or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my education. We cannot trust any mind, even from the police force. That seems like a very big leap in logic. Yes, it is. That is literally like saying that because someone has any amount of money at all, you can't trust the witnesses. Like, it is such a huge leap. I'm not really sure how I feel about this part of the case. It in fact seems silly, but we'll see. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes... Oh, man. Ugh. The truth versus defense. I mean, here's the realistic thing, right? Okay, you save. I knowing how it's Ace Attorney, it's either going to A, stop me and say that's not the thing you want to say, or B, neither of these even matter and it doesn't matter what I say. I'm gonna say the defendant could be guilty. I'm here in this courtroom to advocate today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, this moment in time, I cannot, in all good conscience, attest fully to the defense's innocence. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there's also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me! Order, order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. The defense lawyer calling the accused's innocence into question. Are you sound of mind? Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was a grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so ye have. What do you mean? 'Tis just as the right honorable gentleman so succinctly said, put it afore. The trial cannot go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. Dude, he's laughing his ass off. I can now see why this guy couldn't find a defense lawyer. I really don't know what to make. Like, I don't think... Oh no, the Damon Gant clap. Yeah, exactly. I think the reason he couldn't find a lawyer and why we were offered this was because everyone knows that no matter how hard they try to defend him, he's gonna, like, screw with things. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming, and unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking wretch are always guilty of something, you... Mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us that lovely park. Now that the proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court. But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zieks? My lord. The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection.
But wait! When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zieks ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. What? I mean, he's right, but that's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. As for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. You mean to tell me that this all has been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilted. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have you? Just one thing, a warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilted, not guilty. This is the second case in this game in which, because a person is, like, of high social standing, they've gotten away. Like, second time. By the way, if you had examined the carriage before the smoke grenade, the blood on the floor wasn't there. Interesting. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. This game is such a ride, I agree. You know, the other Ace Attorney games definitely, like, they leave you with this sense of a hero and, like, you saved the day, right? You did the right thing, or at least you tried your best. This game specifically has this weird feeling behind it where every single case has left me feeling like trash. First case, fighting for my life with my best friend. You know, we're fighting for our lives with our best friend here, and we get through it. Can't arrest the lady because she's like a noble of a foreign land, and she's on an embassy here, and we can't do that. Second case, get through the entire thing. Best friend dies, and the person who's responsible killed them on accident. Tertiary case. Get thrown to save someone who we wholesomely think is not guilty. Ends up probably being pretty damn guilty. And we can't do anything about it. We have literally not won once. We have only like halfway won this entire game in every single case. That's kind of crazy. There's no time when I finished a case and felt good so far. That certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. Trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Oh my god, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to talk to you. Mr. McGilded. Oh, and that girl was with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. I got you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure if I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there for once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Ah, this wonder under the bridge. Water. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. Nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and abstinent deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now, the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. Still more hat than man, exactly. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I've absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed aforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, no, no. I couldn't possibly accept that much. Oh, be Weist. You're a humble people, Hardy. Are you from the East? Well, if you insist. But have this, still and all. You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? This sooner than I was led to believe. Hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There are some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. Uh-oh. Going to examine it again now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help wherever I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so that should be illegal. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. Dude, how did they let this happen? I hope you have a whale of a time while you're sitting here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Oh, great. Okay, it's fine, you don't move. Whereas I want to say, get a move on, surely does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry. And I hate all grown-ups. Oh, there you are! What? Who is this child? What? Naughty naughty running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who is this little girl now? And taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, she made that thing. I swear to God, if she says her name is Watson, I'm gonna lose my shit. Ah! Oh my God, she has a rocket launcher with a heart on it. Oh, do you want to play? You can't beat me. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose. That machine. If she says her name is Watson or Da Vinci, I'm leaving. The inventor. All normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, and more white. If you have to be so shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. What's it? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician. What, you mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh good, you see? I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. Literally threatening her with a rocket launcher. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is to not get shot by that massive gun of yours. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She was a lively one. Well? Do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now, too? Yeah, you're right, but... where to? Oh! We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner have we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still at the bailiff. I I was originally planning to spend the day in search of lodgings. At this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. You know, it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear. That doesn't sound agreeable. No, I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room, or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over. What is happening?
Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water! Quick!
Of course!
How did this happen?
Of course!
By the time I got here, it was already engulfed. No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Someone's in there?
No. Oh, good God.
Is
There's someone in there.
the judge is like, what's happening? I was taking a bath. Is it gonna be Mr. McGilded? Did someone put him in there? Whoa. That's wild. I'm gonna bet what happened is Mr. McGilded went in there to, like, go and change some evidence in around again, and someone just lit the whole thing on fire. Our youthfulness will see us through the next day. 2 frozen bodies were recovered from McGilded Park. Experts say they attempted to sleep in the park and froze to death. I don't know how I feel about that case. Like, the general message of the case I really enjoyed, but there are so many, like, logical fallacies in the case that don't really make sense. Especially at the end there when they're talking about, like, faked evidence. But at the same time, apparently, Lord Van Zeeks was with a bunch of police officers, you know, recording everything about it and searching this place. And they said they didn't see anything. But apparently his opinion's not enough. And they can't get the police officers in here to testify. It was a little weird towards the end there. But aside from that, the case is pretty okay. I think it's because of the jury and different justice system. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get that it's supposed to be unfair because the justice system isn't, like, fleshed out yet, and there's supposed to be inconsistencies and, you know, bad rules and how it's run. But it just seems a little strange. I don't know. Even so. But regardless, it wasn't a bad trial. I don't think this one personally lived up to the level of the other two. It did introduce Lord Van Zykes, which I really like seeing him. He's really cool. Introduce the courtroom and the juror mechanic, which is really neat. I love kind of pitting the jury against each other. That's really fun. However, I don't think I liked the flow of the trial itself and the way it went. Really? It was a little... I don't know. It felt a little jumpy at times. And not in the best of ways. Aside from that, that was really fun. How long did that take us? About 3 hours to complete just that section. The last part of this case was longer than all the rest of it. Anyways, we're on to episode 4 now. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. I don't know what that's gonna mean, but it has an investigation phase, so... Now they get to eat whatever's cooked in that bus. Oh no. But there's one thing I like that this game has done is that not every single case has an investigation stage, right? I personally do not like the investigation stage of Ace Attorney. I know maybe some people like looking around for clues, but everything in the investigation stage seems so obvious a lot of the time. I don't really enjoy it that much. I prefer being straight in the court. And when I look at these two cases, we've done two cases with no investigation stage. They're just straight in the court. And the one case that did have an investigation stage, they had that really neat Sholmes sequence in it. That little game you could play that made it really interesting. So they've really made every part of the case enjoyable, which I'm really enjoying. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today's stream. Dance of Deduction is fun. It's very fun. It's going to be it for today's stream. I think I will be streaming again tomorrow, actually. Yeah, I should be streaming tomorrow. This is my next open day. So see you all for the beginning of episode 4. See y'all then. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night. Right now.